Now, if you can see in our team, this is Ted Cruz waiting in the airport, and he said that he was just going to take his family and his kids and stuff down there, and he's going to come back. But when he's got there, it doesn't look like he's going to take a short little trip. It looks like he's going to be down there and take a couple margaritas and stuff, and take the sun in.
Getaway. So while AOC was raising $1 million for Texas, Cruz was raising a glass of tequila at a Cancun resort. Yes, he's been on an apology tour since he got back, but he keeps changing his tune and his story. Sonny, it's hard to keep up with this guy, and he's not up for re-election until, what, 4 more years or something? So, what do you think?
I think he got caught. I think it's just terribly tone deaf as a senator for leaving a humanitarian crisis in your home state, the state that you represent, leaving the constituents that you represent. What is remarkable to me is that people were defending him, people in the Republican Party, conservatives in the media. They were saying things like, well, what could he have done if he were there? A lot. He could have done a lot. Senators have, special connections. They're able to get things done. I mean, look at what Beto O'Rourke, the senator they could have had in Texas, did. I mean, he was, calling around to seniors. He mobilized many people. He saved lives. And so I think it's certainly par for the course for Senator Cruz. Let's face it, he hasn't been held accountable for his role in the January 6th insurrection, and he's probably not going to be held accountable for this. I will say this. I was really dismayed by the fact that he threw his family under the bus. He said, I was just trying to be a good dad. Well, I remember when there was, Superstorm Sandy here, and I didn't take my kids away. What my son at the time wanted to do was to try to help. He mobilized some of his friends and started giving out water and things like that to people that needed it. And so for me, why didn't he teach his children to help other Texans? This was such a wonderful teaching moment for his girls. And rather than do that, he took everyone on a vacation to Cancun.
Right. It's shameful. But, he saw that Trump gets away with everything, so he figured he can get away with everything. Let's see if he's right. Anna, let me ask you this. Do you think it's fitting that Twitter is now whacking Cruz around like a piñata?
Yes, actually I do, because Ted Cruz is a guy who's very tech savvy, very Twitter savvy. He spends a hell of a lot of time trolling people like Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez and Seth Rogen on Twitter. So I'm surprised that he wouldn't have the savvy and the self-presence to know that he would get caught. But listen, it's so bad in so many different ways. Like Sonny explained, there is a role for elected officials during a catastrophe. There is a role for them to be a liaison with the federal government. And as a constituent, you want to see your public servants, not spring breakers, public servants serving their constituents at a time of need. As somebody who has lived through a lot of hurricanes in Florida, that's what you want to see. But not only did he abandon his state, he abandoned his duties. Then he lied about it. Only reason he came back is because he got caught. Then he pretended he was only going for one night, mind you, with a bag that looked like if it was RuPaul going on vacation for one night. Then came back and blamed his 10-year-old and 12-year-old daughters, saying that they were the ones asking for the trip and he was just being a good father. Then he changed that story around. Oh, let's not forget he was using state resources, asking the police to escort him to and from the airport, police who could have been helping out some of his constituents. Let's also not forget that his neighbors obviously hate him because they released the text from Heidi Cruz, inviting them to this elite resort in Cancun. Let us not forget that Ted Cruz has attacked other politicians for doing exactly the same thing. And let us not forget the kicker, that he left his poodle alone. His poodle, ironically enough, is named Snowflake. So Senator Snowflake, who abandoned his duties, left his 5-pound poodle
have someone in the house. No one in their right mind leaves a dog in the house while they go to Mexico for whatever time. That's insane. This is a whole other level of
Joyce, a
craziness.
reporter went to check on see if the house had electricity. There is a picture. Go look at my Twitter feed of the 5-pound
I saw the picture of the dog.
Okay, in the house.
Let me ask you.
I mean,
Okay. Which is worse, leaving the poodle at home or tying the dog to the roof? Remember Romney did that? Let me get on to Sarah before we run out of time here. So Sarah, do you think that he should have known this trip wouldn't go over well? What do you say?
Oh, absolutely. And I think beyond the optics, what kind of grabs me is typically like a human response in crisis is what can I do? During this pandemic, so many of us have asked, when we can't be around other people for our safety, how do we take care of people that are in senior citizen homes, people that don't have as much? How do we give? 9/11, New York turned itself on its head to say, what do I do? Where do I go? How can I help? To know you represent a state and they are literally, people are dying. They don't have food, they don't have water, they're melting snow. The first reaction even from New York with no connection to Texas is what can we do? What can we do? The fact that he did it optically is like he's more experienced, he should know better. But the part that really I can't reconcile is the human response for the great state of Texas. Like why are you not feeling a need to help your people? But then the hypocrisy gets me, which you guys have all said along the way. He's one of the loudest critics online as recently as December, kind of ripping into the Democratic mayor of Austin. When he traveled, he said he took a private jet with 8 people to Cabo, and while in Cabo, he recorded the video telling people not to travel. And Cruz came for him, which, again, this is like a lack of consistency. It's not only not taking full accountability and coming clean the first version of your story, but it's also just being consistent. People are going to make mistakes, but then don't be the first one on Twitter to hate on people.
Okay, so he's getting raked over the coals for this, Megan. Do you think it's warranted that he should be, so vilified?
I mean, are we going to a commercial? I don't know how we are on time. Sorry, I was just told we're going to a commercial. Okay, anyway, all right. Well, I echo everything everyone else said. Obviously, it's incredibly tone deaf, and it's, everything everyone said, it's despicable. I think if you have one role as a leader or as an elected official, it's to be with your constituents during a time of crisis. I think part of the reason why he did it is because, as you noted, Joy, politicians can get away with more now than they used to be able to. I mean, we have Nancy Pelosi getting a haircut during quarantine when no one else in the state was allowed to. Gavin Newsom spending $20,000 going to a high-end restaurant in Napa Valley called French Laundry after telling people in California that they couldn't be dining indoors or going to restaurants. Gretchen Whitmer bucking every rule that she put in place while she was governor. And then obviously we have Governor Cuomo. The explosion on Twitter is warranted, but I had just wished last night when I was seeing the absolute outrage and more time being dedicated towards this scandal, I wish we had had a modicum of what was dedicated to the Ted Cruz scandal, dedicated to the scandal with Governor Cuomo, where 15,000 elderly people were, tragically died in nursing homes, and the media has ignored it for a year. So I just think it's fun to dunk on Ted Cruz. I get it. Like he's a wildly disliked person. I believe Lindsey Graham said that you could shoot him on the congressional floor and no one would say anything. You could find out who did it. He's a very disliked person in Washington D.C. I get it, but I just think there are also other scandals that I wish that Democrats were hit in the same way for things that they've justifiably done wrong that Republicans are right now as well.
Well, I think you have a point. You do. You made a good point there.
You can't put it twice.
Well, anyway, I just wanted to go ahead and show you a little bit of what I've seen and stuff. That is really sad and stuff. And the thing is that, like the person said, if you're going to be a representative, you're going to be a leader, you need to go ahead and do your job and not take off. If you're getting paid a lot of money to go ahead and be a leader, basically, and really not do anything, not do any physical work, but telling everybody else what to do, then you should at least stay, home. What Ted Cruz did and everything, I think that is really cowardly. I think that is stupid, basically stupid. And the thing is that I think he should go ahead and quit his job as representative. He should go ahead and resign as what he does currently in Texas, because obviously he doesn't care about his state enough to stay there. He doesn't care about his job to do it. You know, if this guy goes ahead and goes, you know, I just hope that he gets what he deserves. I'm not saying you'll go out and lynch him or kill him or anything, but what I'm saying is that, hey, he needs to be taken out of his job. He needs to lose his job and feel how it is, how everybody else in Texas who basically froze and starved and didn't have any water, you know, how they were feeling at the time, because that's not right. And also to any of the other representative and congressmen in Congress, wherever state or the Capitol, whatever, who have done stuff like this, who have like taken off, you know, when we had the COVID and everything, and they went off to go see their family or go out to vacation or anything while we were stuck here in quarantine. I think any of those have done that should lose their job, you know. It's just really sad that how things are going, and we're just, you know, becoming such a society and everything where we just don't care about anybody else anymore almost. The thing is, for me and everything, is that I have family in Texas, in Uvalde, Texas. That's about 75 miles southwest of San Antonio, and I'm not sure if they got hit or anything, but I remember this one time when I was, I think about 12 or 13, and my mom took me to Texas to go see our relatives down there during around November, December. And at that time, it snowed and everything in Uvalde and also over in San Antonio, but it was really cold. And for them down there, that was the first time they told me that they ever had snow in about 50 years. That was really a really big deal for them. And also I remember that I had to teach my aunt how to go ahead and drive in the snow, because she did not know how to drive in the snow. She's never been in snow before. She's never driven in snow before. She's been in Texas all her life, and it has never snowed down there in her life. So, and she didn't even know what snow was until she saw it. You know, she's seen it on movies and stuff, but she never held it or seen it or anything, real life. You know, shocking. I'm just hoping that this Representative Ted Cruz and everything, I hope he gets what he deserves, because, you know, going ahead and leaving your state when there is a state emergency, when people are freezing and they lost electricity and they lost their water and stuff, and you take off to go out and to play in the sun and everything, I think that's really messed up. So anyway, that's it for me. I will be back later on when it gets a little bit warmer here, and I have some other projects that I'm doing on chainsaws and stuff, so hopefully also have that steel chainsaw that I did earlier. I want to go ahead and put that together and run it, fire it up for you guys. So this is Joe Valla's Small Engine Repair. If you like this video, please give it a thumbs up. If this is the first time you've come to my video and everything, I usually don't. This is my first time kind of doing out of the norm of what I do. I usually just do small engine repair, stuff like that. But I wanted to go ahead and make a video where I say something that, because I was just upset of how things have been going here in the United States, and I thought this was a really good, you know, especially where representative and stuff, where, you know, he takes off and he does this thing that's really wrong, and I really wanted to address that, because that just really shocked me when I heard about that. When this political figure and everything, he just takes off, and he says, I don't care about my state. I'm taking off. I'm going to go get in the sun while my state freezes in the cold. I really don't care. And I just wanted to say a couple things about that, because I have a right to say my opinion. It's my opinion. I'm not saying anything bad about Ted Cruz, he already made his opinion about his state of Texas and his his job as representative. When he went ahead and he took a plane to Mexico, he made his own opinion on that. It just shows how much he cares about his job and how much he cares about his state of Texas. Well, anyway, guys, just wanted to make a short video. I hope I didn't bore you too much or anything like that. I hope you enjoyed it. If you have not been to my video or have not seen my video, seen my channels and stuff, please come by and watch my other videos. Subscribe if you like, leave a like, and talk to you later.